Hello there and welcome to another video of the dude in the couch. So that's me, Hector, the shield dude in the couch, and this is my second video. So 2021 had a lot of great albums, but there were also some disappointments, and I'm gonna speak about 4 albums in particular that for me were a little bit disappointing. And I'm gonna start with a band called Genghis Strong, and the album is called Dream Weapon. This was their first album like in 10 years. The band used to be like a really hard band, like aggressive, but this album is very chill, more electronic. I heard great things about the band, and I went on an impulse buy and I bought it from the band, and I have heard it, and it's not bad. It's not a bad album. It's not bad music, but it isn't something that stayed with me that much. I know they did. The single was Dream Weapon, which I thought it was pretty decent song. But then there's some songs that are so electronic, so mellow that you kind of get lost. So this is what the inside looks like. This is the back cover. It's a pretty not that much flashy, but the variant that I got looks amazing. So I'm gonna show it to you guys now quickly. So as you can see, it's this bluish, like very dreamy. So at least the vinyl looks pretty, but the album wasn't something that stayed with me for that much. I listened to it a few times, and I thought it sounds good, but it kind of bored me sometimes. So it's not something that I came back that too much. So for that reason, I'm counting this a disappointment for 2021. So the second album that I thought was disappointing, and it's a band that it's like an alternative emo band, if you would say. They're called Fiddlehead, and they don't put a lot of albums as well. So take a look at the album here. The album is called Between the Richness. Obviously this cover is amazing. I think I love the cover, but the songs, first of all, it's a super short album. It's like 24 minutes. You like put it on and it ends so quickly, and some of the songs are so short. And I'm not saying that an album with short songs is bad, because Slayer Raining Blood is like 21 minutes and it's a classic. But this album, I think it felt a little bit too short, and some songs could have been explored a little bit longer, maybe like a 35-minute album. So this is what the vinyl looks like. It's really pretty with the flowers. This is an album that I heard a little bit, but there's some other bands with this type of style of music that put out way better albums for me this year, which I will talk about some of them in my next video. So for that, Fiddlehead is a disappointment for the year 2021. So now I'm gonna go to the albums number 2 and 1 disappointment, and these are one of them is a band that I've followed for years, and I'm a huge fan of the lead singer, because he was the drummer of Nirvana. And yes, I'm talking about Foo Fighters and their latest album, Medicine at Midnight. So this album, the Foo Fighters were hyping this album to be like a party album for the year. It's gonna be like super party, super fun. They said there was gonna be some disco influences, so I was like, let's see what it sounds like, because after 2011 Wasting Light, I really haven't loved a Foo Fighters album like I did that one. The ones that come after that, they're just okay. They're not terrible, but they're not something that I go back to. So Medicine at Midnight goes back to something that I didn't hear a lot. I pre-ordered it because this was a special edition that they had for record stores, and the vinyl looks great. But the first single that the band put out for this is Shame Shame, which is a song that's so slow, so mellow. I'm like, this doesn't sound like a party song. And the whole album doesn't sound like that. It has a few great songs like Making a Fire, Waiting on a War, and No Son of Mine. But besides those songs, Chasing Birds, Chasing Birds sounds like something you would hear when you're in the dentist. And Medicine at Midnight, it's okay, but there's really nothing here that for me stands out. To me, it's like sounds like Foo Fighters just doing a Foo Fighters album and trying to be like more hip. Obviously, I like the cover. The cover is awesome with the color. So I'm gonna show the variant that I got for this one. So it's like a bluish color, and it looks amazing. But yeah, the album as a whole, disappointing. So that's why it's one of the disappointing albums of the year for me. But the queen of disappointment this year and overhypedness is Adele with her album 30. I bought this one for the Amazon like special edition that they had. So this album put out 5,000 copies in vinyl. There's a shortage in vinyl because of this album. Was it worth the hype? Hell no. This to me is her weakest album yet. So here you have her, Adele, on the cover looking, I don't know what she's looking at. Maybe she's thinking, okay, let me put an album that a lot of critics will say it's her best work, but it really isn't. This will never top 21 for me. The first problem that this album for me has, it's too long. It's 58 minutes. Her last albums were all 48 minutes. So there's 10 minutes here that really could have been trimmed. There's some songs here that go on way too long, like My Little Love, which is a love song for her son, but like the last 2 minutes is her like having a conversation and crying, and it goes on for way too long. Also, the choruses on this album are kind of weak, like with Cry Your Heart Out, Oh My God, Can I Get It, so cheesy. They're really cheesy songs here. And for me, the best song here is Easy on Me, which was the single that they put out, and it's a good single, but it's not Rolling in the Deep, it's not Someone Like You, it's not Hello. It doesn't have that caliber for me. So even though it's a good single, to me it's average. And this is what this album is. It's an average album that goes way too long. Obviously, I'm not criticizing her voice because Adele's voice is still amazing, but this album, the songs, they're not that great. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like. And the vinyl for Amazon is a white, pretty soft, nothing fancy. So yeah, this is an album that I bought for my wife and me, and she didn't like it, and she's a fan of Adele. So I'm just disappointed in the album. I think if it would have been more trimmed and focused, it would have been a greater album. So those are the 4 disappointments for me for 2021. What are your disappointments? Comment below and let me know what you think. Bye.